Perfect. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Thomas Bledsoe, VP of Supply Chain at Seville Farms. Thomas, would you also tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Seville Farms?
Certainly. Hello, everybody. Seville Farms is a large greenhouse nursery operation. So we provide the bedded plants to the garden centers at the most of the Lowe's in Texas and Arkansas, a lot of your Walmarts, the Krogers that have garden centers and stuff like that. It's a highly seasonal business with most of it happening right now. 70% of the business happens in the spring, but we do have business year round. And my role is planning, procurement through having the stuff at the sites to manufacture the plants, and then the transportation portion to get it to our customers.
Thomas, would you actually share similar sentiments or add anything to that for your experience?
Similar sentiments, and then our planning process has been unconstrained. So the lack of ability to know that you're going to overrun your work site capacity with the plan has definitely been problematic, and this tool helps us solve for that.
Yeah. Let's jump to our second case study with Thomas at Seville Farms. Thomas, like a lot of clients we transform, I feel like your team was also living entirely in a homegrown system and actually sending out data to Excel. So could you speak a little bit to that, and then maybe discuss how using Adaptive as your single source of truth has been valuable for you?
Yes, we've been operating in a homegrown system that allowed, the sales plan was built from the ground up every time. And then the master production schedule had to be done basically from the ground up following the sales plan. So it was a very manually intense process. Whereas, and of course, as you stated, putting a lot of things out to Excel, working it, and then going back in and rekeying things based on what you found from your analysis. So with Adaptive One, we're going to be able to go into doing more top-down exception-based planning, where we can just put percents in by different areas, by customer region, by categories, and then go deal with the exceptions versus having to touch everything. Same with the production planning, as it was disjointed and, as you said, somewhat reactive. We can actually be building the production plan as the sales plan it finalizes. Like I mentioned in my other comment, it's been unconstrained, so we build a sales plan and we then deal with the fallout of where we may run into production issues because we can only put so many people into the area where we pot the plants up, or in week 8 we run out of space in a site because there's so much on the ground, because my product can take anywhere from 4 weeks to 33 weeks to make. And so as we're going into spring, we get into some tight space constraints, and we don't have visibility of that as we're building the plan to adjust or even get subcontractors or move things to different sites. And we'll be able to do that with Adaptive because we're loading in the bill of materials, all the constraint information of how many people can work at the same time in areas, how much space we have. And then that tool will let us predict of how many people are we going to need. I ship everything to our customers on racks. So, being able to predict by each week how many racks we should need at each site, so we can have those, how many trailers we're going to need. If we follow to the plan, to make sure we have enough trailers available for us. It will give us all that predictive information. We can also build forecast on a high level. So whether it's a black pint flower pot, I can go to the manufacturers with a high level forecast now that pulls out of the sales plan. So a lot more visualization and a lot more connectedness, and to know what our constraints are so that we can actually perform to the plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in your business, we talk a lot about inefficiencies of reactive planning. So making those changes, scrambling after an event has happened. So is it fair to say that scenario-based planning and Adaptive is pretty crucial to your business?
Yes, to be able to look after the fact and replan, because we have to plan very far ahead. So as soon as we're done with a week, we're almost planning the next year. So to have the ability to more quickly do that. We also need the ability to run scenarios. Right now, we have one plan. The system only has one in the old system. So taking advantage of this, having a plan, as Sophia mentioned, that is the main plan that's in production, but to also be able to run scenarios with our customers, that what if we did this, and be able to use it in the system, and then if we like it, move it into the main active plan, has great benefits for us to be able to look at profitability with different scenarios.